coleslaw. It's one of the most popular sides you can make for your Memorial Day barbecue and happens to be one of my favorites. So today we're going to show you how to make it 3 different ways with personal chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com. Chef Bill, I love when you're here, and I have to say it has a funky smell in the kitchen right now, but that's because you were boiling some vinegar.
I was cooking some vinegar. I wanted to scare people first before we started, and I think I was successful.
Yes, but that's okay because it's all going to end up in a wonderfully tasting coleslaw.
It is. So the first one we're going to do is an Asian slaw. And I've already cut up some of the vegetables. This doesn't use the regular Savoy or red cabbage that we use for the other ones. It uses a Napa cabbage, also called a Chinese cabbage. You can find this in supermarkets everywhere. But I did save one leaf, so it's not the round one. It looks like this. And so the way I like to cut this up is I cut off the stem part, cut it in half, and then just chop away like that. Feel free to do it slower if you're doing it in your kitchen. I
was going to say, every time I'm in my kitchen, I pretend like I'm fancy and I can do it. I can't.
No, well, see, the important thing is to have all of your fingers and toes when dinner's ready.
Exactly. That's the goal.
That's the important thing. So we've got this cabbage.
Now, that leaf looks like almost a romaine, but not quite as dark green.
Exactly. It's because you've got the stem part at the bottom. That's a very good analogy. But it's got the texture and the flavor of cabbage. So don't put this in a Caesar salad, you'll be disappointed.
Okay.
So what I already have in here, I just put in some scallions and I julienned some, what you call this kind of cut, the red pepper. So that's already in there. Now, the other part is I've got some vinegar, but I use rice wine vinegar, and which you can find not just in Asian markets, but again, in supermarkets everywhere.
But it has a different flavor than other vinegars.
It does have a slightly different flavor. And sometimes it comes sweetened. That's fine. You can use that too, because it's not like there's a lot of sugar to it.
Okay.
But there are 2 things I want to show that's a little different from your regular coleslaw, and this helps with the Asian flavor, is a ginger. So one of them is ginger, and I'm going to show you how to peel ginger with a spoon. And I forgot to pull it up here, and I'm going to actually use this piece here.
Now, for something like this, you never want to use a different form of ginger. You wouldn't want to use powder.
Powder would be disappointing. It just won't have the flavor or the effect you want. And so since ginger comes in all these different funny shapes, it's hard to peel it. So I like to peel ginger with a spoon and just kind of scrape along the skin just like that, and it comes right off. The advantage is it's faster, and especially with an odd shape, you cut down your chance of cutting yourself. If you cut yourself with a spoon, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that would be really
That'd be really bad, yes. But it comes right off, and there's less waste with it. And so then what I do is you can chop it up, or I like to grate it. And so really just go down on the grater just like that. And
so easy.
It is. It's very easy. And as always with these, be careful. You don't want to cut yourself.
Right. I am a little intimidated by ginger because it does come in. I just don't know where to start. But that's a great way to do it with a spoon. Peel it, shred it.
Exactly. You can smell, especially once it's grated, how fresh it is.
Amazing.
It's a great fragrance. So that's going to go right in there. And the other one that some people don't know how to prepare is mango. And really, all you want to do is peel it. And again, this goes very quickly. Got caught in the peeler there, which you want to do on live TV. But it comes right around like that. But the thing is, there's this huge pit in the middle of the mango, and that's what throws people off. Because
yes, I don't know where it starts and where it ends. I can't figure it out.
That's exactly it, and we're about to find out. So I'm just going to finish peeling this. I want to do this first just to show people how these can sometimes be a little bit slippery, but it's easy enough. But here's one way to cut down on the slipperiness when you're ready to cut it, is to cut just a little bit off the bottom. And so this way, it'll stand up straight. And you'll notice it's not perfectly round, but it's almost egg shape, but kind of a little flatter. And so the pit, the wide pit, is up the middle that way, along the flat part.
Okay.
So really, so you put your knife down and say, oh, I've got the pit right there. Well, you can just start moving it around the outside, and it goes all the way down the side.
But it's nice to have that flat surface on the bottom, then if it does kind of move, at least you have that base.
Exactly, exactly. So this way, you just put the knife in where it's going to go all the way down, and see, it cuts down there, and then you take a little bit off the sides, and voila, you have your mango. And so there's a little bit up there you can gnaw on it, give it to your kids to play with.
Yes,
but a little bit's there to nibble on. But you've got, this way you've got the big pieces here. So this way what I like to do is cut it down that way, easy. And then just like the red pepper, it's a julienne.
You make it look so easy. And then when I get home and try to do it, I feel like I fail. Practice, right?
Practice, practice, practice. Exactly. So this way you have to go out. And also, in keeping with the idea of budgets, I found mangoes on sale this week.
Oh,
so
great.
99 cents each. And also, when you buy a mango, if it's very firm, you want to let it sit out for a couple of days, soften up a little bit, because you don't want to chip a tooth on it, but they can be really firm. So, or especially when they're on sale, they'll be a little bit riper. You want to have just a little bit of softness to it.
Okay. So now, once you julienne all of that, what's the dressing that goes? I know you put rice wine vinegar in there.
I put rice wine vinegar in here. Also, I've got, in this case, calls for sweetener or often sugar. I like to use agave. It's better for the glycemic index, so folks have diabetes or other issues, but also it's healthier than just regular white sugar.
It's all natural, right?
Exactly. White sugar is fine. So just kind of whisk that together.
Okay.
But now the last ingredient, which is going to give you, with the ginger, your oomph for the Asian flavor.
Oh, we need the oomph.
You need the oomph, is sesame oil. And just a teaspoon, don't need that much. And so with the exception of the sesame oil, this is fat-free. And the sesame oil for all of this gives you about 5 grams of fat for the whole thing.
Oh my goodness, so that's
really
not
much.
Healthy, yeah.
So whisk that all together.
Oh, I smell that. Oh my goodness. It smells amazing.
That's it.
And it's a beautiful color too.
It's very vibrant. And now, this is what hands are for.
Yep.
And just kind of mix it all around like that.
Now, do you want to let this marinate in the fridge for a little bit before you serve it?
Yes. Now, actually, there are 3 answers with that. And the same 3 answers applies to all of the coleslaws.
Okay, we're going to actually make everyone wait to hear what the answer is. So we will answer that question when we come back with you, because we will be back. We'll be making 2 different slaws coming up in the show. That brings us to our question of the day today. We wanted to know what your favorite summertime cookout food was. We put it on Facebook already. Debbie told us that she likes grilled fish and grilled vegetables and watermelon, but mostly watermelon. Christy likes steaks. Lynn likes chicken and pork. Sarah likes Hadley corn. Yum. What is your favorite cookout food?
Corn on the cob is my favorite food ever.
Ever?
Ever.
Wow.
It really is.
I'm so impressed by your confidence. How that's so easily your favorite food.
And the local corn here is spectacular.
It's like candy, right?
It is.
I could talk to you about this the whole hour. We are back with personal chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com, and we're making even more coleslaw. Now, earlier, I asked the question, once you mix it all together, you have to let it marinate, right?
Yes and no, because there are 3 answers to that, because I can never give a straight answer to a very simple question. Is that if you want to serve it straight away, you can certainly serve it straight away. That's fine. You don't have to wait. However, if you let it sit for an hour or so, the flavors will mix and meld together. And if you let it sit overnight, even more so. And so, especially if you let it sit overnight, you might want to add a little more vinegar, check the salt and pepper. It's really a matter of tasting it and see what you like. But it's such a vibrant, zippy flavor, the longer you let it sit. I'm not saying days or weeks, but let it sit overnight is fine too.
Well, I just had some and you just mixed this, and it is amazing.
Thank you.
My new favorite snack. It's so good.
Great.
Healthy, really inexpensive. The next salad is a barbecue slaw, but not because there's barbecue sauce in it.
Nope, it's actually, they refer to this as a barbecue slaw usually down around the Carolinas. Where they do a lot of their barbecuing with vinegars. So this, the only sauce in this, if you can call it that, mixing it together, is, in this case, is vinegar and sugar. You can use other sweeteners, honey and agave. Now, when you go with the vinegar and the sugar, there are 2 things. One is you can whisk it together and most of the sugar will dissolve, but there might still be a few little granules of sugar left in there. So what I tend to do is I take the sugar and the vinegar and I bring it to a simmer. And so that's why the studio today smells a little funky, because there's nothing quite like cooking vinegar to make everybody go, uh-oh. But it's perfectly fine, it's perfectly healthy, but that dissolves all the sugar, so you don't have any of that little crunchiness, sort of like you get to the bottom of an iced tea or an iced coffee, because it doesn't dissolve.
Right.
That way. So.
Got it.
I've already grated, or I should say shredded some red cabbage and green cabbage. And you can either use a mandolin, which is a very dangerous tool, so you want to be careful, use a special glove, or you can use a food processor where they have the little slicing blade up at the top, or you can use an old-fashioned knife. And the first thing you look at the cabbage, say, that's kind of, how do I cut that? And what you want to do is, the answer is very carefully, is
Good answer.
take your knife and plant it on the edge there if you can, but press down, keeping your hands safe, and cut down just like that. Now you've got the 2 halves here. Do that again, but now that you've got the flat surface, it's easier. Cut down like that.
It's good to have a nice big knife like that too, that helps.
Chef's knife, I'm so sold on not only chef's knives, but the bigger 10-inch knife. It gives you more area to cut with and makes cutting awkward things easier. So now, I'm going to just take off this outer leaf. You can start slicing away.
Oh, it's pretty easy.
It is. And the thing is, take your time And as you get down to the little bits like that, just tip that over and cut. Now, it could be thin, it could be thick. It's whatever you want to do.
And you can also buy the pre-packaged too, right?
Yes, you can. Yeah, absolutely. My preference is always to go with the fresh if possible, but if using the package is going to get you in the kitchen and cook, absolutely do it.
And also, you were mentioning before, Seth is at the food bank farm right now. In the fall, you can get all of this produce locally.
You can make everything in the entire coleslaw with this barbecue slaw locally. Cabbage, carrots, onions. Even there's not only are there local vinegar makers, but also some local vinegar makers doing their own grapes. So everything except the salt and pepper can come from here.
That's so good, so good.
So it's kind of a cool way to look at the entire thing coming that way.
So you throw everything together, the red cabbage, the green cabbage.
The green cabbage.
Mix it together. You already shredded the carrot.
I already shredded the carrot. Now, I put onion in here. Now, here's the thing about the onion. I don't like to just chop up onion because it doesn't give you a really full onion flavor. You get bits of onion in your teeth. What I like to do is to grate the onion, just as we did with the ginger before. The advantage of doing it this way is you get all the little juices that come out from grating. Now, some people like to cry around onions when they're being cut.
Yep.
But are you one of them?
I am. So we're going to keep grating the I was going to say ginger, the onion. And we will finish up this recipe in just a bit. So we throw that together. We'll
throw
mix
it all together, and just like the others, walk away.
We have one more coleslaw to go.
Yes.
It's a coleslaw party in the kitchen. All right. In the Mass Appeal kitchen, we're back with Chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com. We're making coleslaw, lots of different types of coleslaw.
Yep.
So the Asian slaw is here. Now we have two different bases here, but you're going to put different dressings on them?
Exactly. The first one that I did earlier was the barbecue slaw, and I combined it. That had the sugar and the vinegar and the salt and pepper, and that's it. This one, it's identical to start with. Carrots, the onion, and the 2 cabbages, but I'm going with a little mayonnaise and sour cream, and always with the vinegar because that's what makes the coleslaw spectacular, and some sweetener, in this case some agave. And
this is a more traditional one, right?
This is. And what I like to do is I also like to whisk it together instead of just stirring it to get rid of all kinds of lumps which will come up. And
get all the flavors together?
All the flavors come together. And one thing we can do is I always like to check out the sauce first, if you'd like to give it a taste.
I would love to. Now, you put sour cream in there. I've always done it with just mayonnaise. Does the sour cream add just a different flavor?
It's just a slight different dimension to it.
It's good.
It's got the
I took a really big bite, though.
and that was the vinegar that went, whoa, that woke you up.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're awake now. So now this is identical. This has the grated carrot and the other. So just put the sauce on, and it's good to go. So it's that quick to put the sauce together, and as we saw earlier, just to throw all the ingredients together.
You could even really, well, I guess, we talked about marinating the coleslaw overnight, but if you had the different bases, people could kind of put whatever kind of dressing they'd like on their coleslaw.
Oh, exactly.
So this is more of a traditional, the barbecue doesn't have barbecue sauce in it, it's just the kind of the traditional barbecue slaw from the South.
Exactly, and not only that, but not only is it often served as a side dish, but in the South, often it's right on the sandwich. You have your barbecue brisket, or wherever the meat is, you've got your roll, put the meat on, and the coleslaw on top, and one big, huge sandwich. So that's also part of the barbecue tradition of the different slaws.
And then we have the Asian slaw here. Now we have it in 2 different bowls.
Yes, the reason they're in 2 different bowls is this is the one that I had made about 20 minutes ago, and this is the one that's been marinating overnight. This one is still a little bit crunchier. This is still very crunchy.
Well, this is still delicious because I've been eating it. I can't stop eating it. So this is the one that you just made here.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to do a taste test.
Okay.
No, that's got the crunch to it.
Yep, it still has a very sharp crunch. And this one will have, hopefully, a slightly more, a little less crunch, but a little more of an intense flavor. Because all the flavors have had a chance to meld together and really kind of mix up with the vegetables.
Oh, they're both amazing. So either way, if you don't have time or if you have a lot of time, it's delicious.
Yep, and this way you can do it ahead of time, just so you can do all of these ahead of time. And also, you don't need that much dressing. I realized as I put this together, I used this amount of sauce to put this together that would do for the full amount. So while this looks a little bit saucy.
Oh, it doesn't have enough of the cabbage and the carrots and all that, right.
It'll all, and so you don't want a heavy sauce, but also if you let it sit for a bit, it does kind of come to the bottom. So it's like a salad, any kind of salad, which is what this is. A lot of the sauce will go to the bottom over a short period of time. So you don't have to bite into it and go, oh, too much sauce. That won't happen.
Right, you can just kind of let it go to the bottom and not worry about it. Also,
exactly.
The best part about coleslaw, I mean, aside from it being just absolutely amazing, is how inexpensive it is to make.
It is. When you start with this base of coleslaw, which is the oil and vinegar, that the whole thing, and this is half the amount, $1.25 to make, $1.75 to make the whole thing. So this is 75 cents right there for all of that. Okay, 83 cents. I got the math wrong.
You're a few cents off, Chef
few
Bill.
cents off. This is slightly more because you use a little bit, 3 tablespoons.
Really, for a side dish, $2? Unbelievable. Chef Bill, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is delicious, so great. Now we have great ideas for our Memorial Day picnic. I can't wait to make this Asian slaw.
Yep.
I'm making it.